The Calgary Flames have a lot that they need to cross off their checklist in order to be a competitive team by the time Scotia Place opens. We're going to break down a recent article that breaks down essentially what the future plans of the organization should entail and what the Flames need to do in order to be a competitive team by the 2027-28 season. But before we get into all of that, I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I am Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. And without further ado, let's dive into the plans to contend in a new arena. Well, in the new arena in Scotia Place. And contend may be a drastic word here. That may be a little bit hyperbolic. We're talking more about just in order to be competitive by the time the Flames play their very first game in Scotia Place. Just to be a competitive team, a team that, you know, the organization and the fan base can be excited about, whether it's a hopeful team, a young team on the rise, which it most likely will be, or to, of course, get to a point where we actually are competitive in the standings and maybe all the way to a contender. But we have a very good article here for you, and it is from the Calgary Herald, written by Daniel Austin, sensational writer, and a very good article we have here. So, contenders by 2027? What the Flames need to do to be competitive on day one at Scotia Place. Acquiring a true number one center is one of the things the Flames will have to do, and they may be able to do that in the 2025 NHL draft. So to get a little precursor here, a new arena, a new sense of optimism. I think we're going to have a team that is going to build aggressively over the next 3 years, said Robert Hayes, the new president and CEO of CSEC, at Monday's groundbreaking ceremony for the new event center. We just had 10 draft picks in the most recent draft. I think we have some incredible veterans on our team. I think we're going to be a very competitive team moving forward and building towards September 2027. I think the fans are going to be pretty excited to be Calgary Flames fans. That's such a funny way to end off the quote there because let's face it, it has been some deeply dark times for Flames fans. And when you meet a stranger, whether you're on vacation or online or whatever, and you say, oh, well, who's your favorite team? And you have to say the Flames. Sometimes it can get, a little bit sad, to be quite frank with you. But hopefully we can get to a point where we're really excited to say we're Flames fans. I mean, of course, most of us are always going to be excited to say we're Flames fans, but it's going to be even that much better knowing we have a good team behind us. But what do we have to do in order to get to this point that Hayes is talking about here in order to actually be a competitive team by the time Scotia Place opens? Once again, from Daniel Austin, great ideas here. But here's the first one. Here's what we think needs to happen. Get a center in the 2025 draft. This is a big one. The Flames have replenished their prospect pool in a serious way since Craig Conroy took over as general manager, but they don't have a player in their system who looks like he's a true number one center. As of right now, you could argue that's Nazem Kadri. We still have Backlund, of course. Connor Zary could play up the middle, but either way, they don't have just a true number one center and haven't for a very long time, to be honest. Fortunately, there are a couple of guys who fit the bill in the 2025 NHL draft, and it's not at all unreasonable to assume the Flames will be picking early next summer. I actually think it's very reasonable and kind of the plan to pick high in next year's draft. The likes of Boston College's James Hagens, Anton Frondell of Djurgårdens in Sweden, and Michael Misa of the Saginaw Spirit are all high-end, exciting centers who will be draft eligible next year, and the Flames selected Misa's brother Luke in this year's draft. Very, very under-the-radar pick there. What a steal. Is it reasonable to expect that a player who is drafted in 2025 will be making a massive impact in the NHL by the fall of 2027? Honestly, when we're talking about high lottery picks, the answer is probably yes. So genuinely, the plans here, I know it's not a brand new plan, especially this one, but it really has been revealed that the Flames need to suck this year and draft high. There are some good centers available, and who knows how the kind of, prospect draft board will kind of change the prospect rankings leading up to next year's draft, because let's face it, the year before, it's never the same as it was. We have the World Juniors to look at, which matter a ton, and then the Memorial Cup, other things as well. But either way, there's a good chance that we could draft a number one center next year and could be the number one center of the future and already be good enough by the time Scotia Place opens up. I really, really do like it. Let's get the next one. Steady as she goes on the blue line. By the time 2027 rolls around, there's every reason to believe the Flames are going to be in great shape on the blue line. It's a genuine area of strength, and 2024 first round draft pick Zane Parekh should be coming into his own as an NHLer by then, maybe even before, while the likes of Hunter Brustevich and Etienne Morin will likely be in the same position. So hopefully they're ready as well. And those are just the prospects coming up. We should have at least one, well, definitely one, if not more defensemen who is already here that could also be just like that. And here it is. Rasmus Andersson, Demil Miramanov, and Jake Bean will all become UFAs a year before the Flames move into their new home. But MacKenzie Weegar, of course, our future captain, will still be under contract for the 2027-28 season. And it's entirely possible that one of those other three veterans will re-sign. I can definitely imagine that at least one of them would want to. The Flames look like they're set for the future defensively, and the plan should be starting to come together by the time Scotia Place open. So the plan here is to just stick with the D-men we got. I know there's a chance we could trade for another one, we could sign another one, but with the D-men we have, develop them, and we could have a very competitive and very competent D-core going into Scotia Place. Now let's get to the next point here. There is one actually I want to talk about first that is in the article, and it's just making sure Dustin Wolf develops. Yes, that is definitely one of the plans, is to get him, one of the plans of the future is to get Dustin Wolf completely NHL ready and adapted to the big league game. Next one, leverage their draft capital. Replenishing your system is always a good thing, and Conroy has done a nice job getting draft picks and young players back in return for the long list of veterans he's traded away over the past 13 months. They've got 5 first-round picks in the next 3 years, as well as 4 second-rounders and a lot more in the later rounds. And that's perfect. Use that draft capital to either draft great players, especially if we're drafting high, or we can trade away some of these picks in order to grab some other good players that could really fit the plans for the future of the organization, whether it's young, good, skilled players. Hey, Edmonton Oilers, you want 5 first-round picks for Connor McDavid? I don't know. Some people might actually do that. We'll see. That's one for the comments, of course. Would you make a Connor McDavid for 5 first-round picks trade? I don't know. Pretty ridiculous, but either way. What is the last one here? It is to get aggressive in free agency. Conroy smartly avoided giving out long-term contracts in free agency this year and didn't get involved in the bidding for the NHL's most highly sought-after UFAs, as if they'd really want to come here anyway. Given where the team is in its development process, it just didn't make sense to spend that sort of money. But they won't be in that same place forever, and with Puckpedia, no longer cap-friendly, estimating that they have more than $20 million in cap space this season, they have money to play with, and the Flames really do. Not for this summer, probably not for next season, but looking at some of the future off seasons, the Flames really could splash some cash in the free agency market and really build a team around the young players that we will be developing and have already developed, kind of thing, as well as some of the veterans that will be here, like a Jonathan Huberdeau, like a MacKenzie Weegar. They're signed until we move into the new place, and who knows what other vets we'll still have kicking around. Hopefully, guys, I mean, by that point, you can call Connor Zary a vet, but some guys like that as well. It'll be very, very interesting. I love the plans laid out here. The Flames really should stick to this and really have to check off all these boxes in order to be the best team they can be by the time they move into Scotia Place and out of the Saddle Dome. Now let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, and this one has to do with the aforementioned Scotia Place and has to do, of course, with one of the nicknames that's going around. There's a bunch. If you go into the comments from this channel from the past few videos, you'll find a ton. If you look online elsewhere, like social media, Instagram, Reddit, Twitter, whatever, they will have loads of nicknames as well, but this one goes without saying. I think we can all agree the new arena's name is the fireplace. Spread the word. This one comes from user One Impressed. And yes, I think pretty much as soon as it was released, there was a user on Reddit who instantly said the fireplace. I don't know their name, but all credit due to them. They were the first to say it. I know a lot of people have, but they were the first ones to say it. But the fireplace does make sense. I'm sure a bunch of other nicknames will be coming, hopefully better than names like the Red Lot for the viewing parties back in the early 2020s. But either way, I love the fireplace. I'm excited for Scotia Place, and it should be very, very fun. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you like what you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.